Greetings from the satellite of Buzz, high above the earth. We've got two great episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000 to talk about. We got Jane Mansfield, we got Hercules, we have a giant Asian lizard, but not that giant Asian lizard. And also, we've got Movie Sign.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to the Mystery Science Theater 3000 After Show. Yes, that's right. Even Slow by Pearl Jam, one of my favorite running jokes through the course of the first episode. 1108, The Many Loves of Hercules. Hercules, you got around for a guy with little nipples. I'm Christian Bladt at Christian DMZ, joined, as always, by the one man that I trust my life to his clemency, Andrew Mena. Andrew Mena.
Thank you, guys. I'm Andrew Mena. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Mena, on Instagram at @TheAndrewMena, or if you Google me, I also am able to be found that way.
And, very important, the show has a Twitter, at MST3KABTV.
It's true.
We have a Yum Yum Dozen worth of followers, which is a bit of a local reference, but if you go to Yum Yum Donuts, you get 14 donuts.
That's so
one
many more than
a
the
baker's
regular
dozen.
dozen.
Yeah, it's even one more than a baker's dozen.
I like that.
So please follow us there. Tidying up some business from last week.
Business.
Laura Bagnell writes, what? H.R. Geiger was not related to the Geiger counter. Geiger was a Swiss artist who did the art for the movie Alien. His work was very surreal and organic, not to mention erotic. Erotic. Interesting that that's what you think of when you think of the movie Alien.
I mean,
there's certainly some moments.
They mean.
But, so, what did I say last week? I was like, I didn't need to look that one up. I guess I did.
I guess you did.
Shame on me. But, before Andrew and I really go into a full-fledged shame spiral, here's a nice one. From G-Monster TV, at G-Monster320. You guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing the pop culture references too. So, thanks, G-Monster TV, which I wonder if he's a G-Monster, did he enjoy our second movie? A little bit more. But we can't talk about the second movie until we talk about the first movie. The Loves of Hercules. I don't know if it's the Loves or the Many Loves. I think that, I think there's something going on about microphone tips from the booth. But I sound good now, and that's the key. Thank you, Jason Blair. Jason Blair is always ready to go. We might have to Skype with you in a certain upcoming episode. By the way, our friend Jason Blair in the chat turned 40 years old yesterday.
Oh,
so
happy
welcome
birthday,
to the Old
Jason.
Man Club. We'd celebrate, but we nap a lot now. We really, really do.
Congratulations on surviving this long.
This movie about Hercules starts off. Well, we'll talk about some of the host stuff, but the movie itself has Jane Mansfield.
Yes.
Hot. Mickey Hargitay.
She is. You know what? And honestly, this is my first Jane Mansfield experience.
Well, her husband, Mickey Hargitay, plays Hercules.
That was okay. Okay, great.
And that's how we know he has such small nipples. But do you know who their child is?
No.
Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order SVU.
No.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
I do. Okay, so yeah. I do know that.
And so,
that's
because
awesome.
I used to work on that show, I have met Mickey Hargitay. Had I known that he had been Hercules in one fairly poorly received, badly done Hercules movie, I would have said, love that Hercules, or something,
Yes.
Banter. I'm good at
that.
Yeah, you understand. Anybody who's watching the show understands.
Also, you're going to have to talk to me later about Mariska Hargitay's phone number.
Oh, I can tell you a lot about her.
Okay, great.
But she was somebody that I actually very liked. I liked very much.
She's
She's very
wonderful.
nice. So you know what that means? That means that our friend here at AfterBuzz, Yael Teagle, she should watch this movie because without this movie, there might be no Mariska Hargitay.
Yael,
she does the SVU.
we're calling you out.
Yeah. She does the SVU after show, and when she found out I worked there, I ended up in about 40-minute conversation about the show. So,
good stuff.
But I always love having a chance to talk to her. But we're here to talk to people about the show. So before we dive into the movie, though, let's talk a little bit about some of the fun things we got. There was a cute little thing about binging the TV series Wings.
Yes.
And,
it's like where's Paul McCartney?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I appreciated that.
Anytime that you can get an Amy Yazbek shout out, that's gonna do me right. And yeah.
All of those references, the like Fair
not
Fork.
a good show,
I was like,
by the way.
nope.
Not a great show, Wings. But like many shows in the 80s and 90s, you didn't have to be good to go into syndication, Caroline in the City Becker. You know, it really does not take a lot, Full House. Yeah, I know, boo, but come on, it's not good.
Hey, he's just saying what we're all feeling.
This show is about feelings.
Yeah. This show's about raw emotion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? This is not for the faint of heart. Okay.
So, we get an Invention Exchange with the Fry Turkey Dunk Tank, which I'm on board for.
I actually kind of I'm on Jonah's side. If it's too anthropomorphic, it makes me a little sad.
No. I mean, I'm on board until the actual. He's like, well, what if he insults you? No, that makes it worse.
No, it's worse. Why would I want? He's a talking turkey now. It's even sadder if it's that.
I have never fried a turkey, but I know those who have, and there's a lot of concern, and there's potential fire hazards.
Sure.
This is one of the more practical uses for an Invention Exchange invention I've seen on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
In the 206 episodes or however many it's been. So, but there's a lot of, we said the show's about feelings. There's a lot of feelings tied up in the poor turkey.
It's true.
But just think about how delicious he would be.
He would probably be so good.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
His little feelings.
He'll insult you in his own way after you eat him. And then Kinga and Max had the Mexican jumping bean bag. Jumping bean bag chair. Yeah, I put the paws in exactly the wrong place. And of course, Max, you killed the moth larva. But we had some other fun host segments. We had the people throwing court with some catapults. The people's throwing court. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was fun. And I like when they do little skits about the movie. So they kind of argue about Hercules and that hunting for monsters is kind of an antiquated point of view. What I liked here was a throwaway joke. Habitat for hydranity.
Oh, I wrote that down too.
Yeah,
I really liked that one.
I'm right there. That was
very funny.
Yeah. So, and we get another one where they're dressed up like girls, and we meet M. Waverly, who is a new robot friend that they are very clear. You can't Raven-Simone us.
No, yeah.
And there's a great reference to Jonah. It's like, isn't there a new enough stuff around here, Fresh Fish? So I thought that was funny. And I was just like, wait, what? Did I forget about this character? I'm like, nope, that character was created just for that bit.
Oh, yeah, to be murdered.
Yeah. Like, kind of brutally.
Brutally, yeah. We get his arm.
Which, by the way, if you like brutal murder, stay tuned for the second movie when we talk about that. So, anyway, did you have any thoughts about anything from the host segments of the show before we dive into Hercules, which sounds dirtier than it is?
I thought they were actually really fun and light, and like comparatively of the next section, I think that this one they kind of like were a little lighter on the host segments, and I think they kind of let the movie do a lot of the kind of the heavy lifting.
I was gonna say you have Hercules, and the only thing he can do is lift heavy things, so you might as well let him do it. Not the best Hercules.
No, but very enjoyable to watch, especially with these guys.
Yes, I think watching this movie without them would have been a little bit less fun because, let's just put it very bluntly, cover your ears, kids, we don't really get a good look at James Mansfield's. So why is she in the movie if we don't? But but I think
a lot of high collars.
A lot of very, very high collars. So I don't know. I thought that it was a fun romp, but. Sorry, Mickey Hargitay. You're no Kevin Sorbo.
I mean.
And he's definitely no Steve Reeves. But anyway, so there are a lot of good jokes throughout. A running joke that I really liked was any time that someone said, speak, and they would go, arf.
Oof. Yeah, I wrote that down too. That's one of my favorites.
Dumb jokes like that.
It's great.
They get me every time. And I'm hoping that they do it again in a later movie, So... and then another dumb joke that I loved, and I bolded this one because I'm like, if I don't say this on the show, I'm going to be mad. The pen is mightier than the fjord.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
I knew you would write that one down. I heard that one, I groaned, and I said, I'm not going to write that one down. Christian will.
I don't need to. And we had a great throwaway line that was a callback to a classic MST3K episode. From Tor Johnson, who people might know from Plan 9 from Outer Space. He was in a movie called The Corpse Vanishes, and he says, time for go to bed. And so they throw that in when somebody who is bald and dumb looking has that face, basically.
Time for go to bed.
And Jason Blair says that the ARF was funny like bang in Cry Wilderness.
Yes,
I definitely agree
it was
with
the same thing where they just kept peppering it in at the perfect point. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Jason has a lot of comments in the chat, and there's one of them that I can't quite read because.
It's the one where he's. I read it while you were speaking.
You can read things in the past.
I read
Look
the past.
into your magic cauldron, my friend.
And he was mentioning that when Patton, the TV son of TV Franks,
yes,
mentions that the Satellite of Love hosts the Mystery Science Theater, and then says, "Oh, that's been its name the whole time. Who knew?" That was really fun.
I
was totally
fun.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew he had messaged me that he really enjoyed one of those interstitials, and for the most part, they're kind of there's not much to them, but sometimes they're actually very funny because it's like drive-by comedy. They only have a few seconds, and definitely
and there it is.
Yeah. What were some of the things that stood out in this movie for you? I've got some more, but
gosh, I have so many because I thought it was so much fun. This is a really fun, silly movie. But one of my favorite ones was right at the top, and they were like Man of La Mancha. I thought that was so great and silly. Great. It is Man of La Mancha. We were all watching Jerry. Sheesh. It was this moment where Jerry says, like, look at the things. Like, we were all watching. We were all looking at it. When they did Rawhide, I really enjoyed. The Mountain Dew mist. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like mist, the color of Mountain Dew.
Which, when I was a much younger man, when I was in high school, if I could have just walked through a Mountain Dew mist every morning on my way to school, that would have actually probably...
sticky way to start your day.
Maybe I would have gotten better grades.
Yeah, you could have been a different man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the please don't damage it when he was fighting the Hydra. Oh, please don't damage it.
He's so carefully fighting
He's so
it.
ginger.
Yeah.
But Crow's whole like call by call. He's like, if you couldn't just do stabs in the designated area. Just that whole producer bit was really good.
Yeah, no, that was one of those things I wrote down. That was very funny. And yeah, the Hydra clearly being saved for a different movie. Yeah. Maybe they even borrowed it out over a weekend while the other movie was still filming, and they're like, "You are not going to damage that Hydra."
Yeah.
Mickey Hargitay.
I guess so.
Keep those small pointy nipples away from it.
The other bad joke that I thought that you would write down that I wrote down anyway, the Deja Vu.
Oh, Deja Vu's good.
Deja Vu.
I have another dumb joke.
Okay.
Philoteddy is gone. Where did he go? Philadelphia.
That was a really bad one.
Philadelphia. I blew the bad joke. Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Look, I'm a connoisseur of bad jokes, and when I get a bad joke wrong, that's worse than getting a good joke wrong, because a bad joke doesn't really have much of a chance to succeed, and you really do it a disservice. And Jason Blair liked when he bumped it and then took like 10 steps to fall down.
Yeah.
Do not fall down near the Hydra. Absolutely.
All of the deaths in this and all of the like violence, all of it was just so goofy.
Yeah.
It was so like gooeyly goofy, just silly and slick with honey.
The story very flimsy, and there was one that I liked, which was a character over explaining something. The comment from one of our pals in the theater was, "Thanks, Expositia."
I like that as well.
And then, of course, they find the society founded by Busby Berkeley musicals, because all the women have those swimming caps on. Mm-hmm. And when she's coming on to him, I don't even know what the characters' names were. I'm really bad with that.
It's totally
But because the names are so terrible. But the one who changes her face to look like Jane Mansfield briefly.
Right. Hippolyta.
And when she's coming on to him, wow, you remembered. Because that's actually a well-known.
It's from legend. I like those legends. So I actually kind of had like a leg up on some of these names.
It's from like history and stuff.
They also call Achilles Aquilo, and I was like, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Also, there are subtitles. Like you guys see that you're spelling it wrong, or they're saying it wrong.
But when she's coming on to him, the comment was swipe left, swipe left. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And of course, the kissing scene. You taste like bad acting and garlic bread. That's for me. And then comments at the set looked like Rainforest Cafe, which I was like, I haven't been to a Rainforest Cafe in quite a while. A joke that I loved that was not particularly obscure for at least someone of mine and Jason Blair's generation. 911 is a joke. Flavor Flavius was right. So that works on multiple levels, because you shout out to Public Enemy's 911 is a joke in your town. Which, in your town, it might be. And then, of course, calling him Flavor Flavius.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I could just sort of swim around in a reference like that if you could only turn it into liquid.
Delicious liquid references.
There was an arrow being shot at one point, and there was a very quick, "For District 12!" which I've sat through all of those Hunger Games movies. I don't think that they're terrible, but my wife had read them, and we saw them all. Let's put it that way.
She thinks they're less terrible.
She thinks that they're less terrible than I do.
That's
yeah, which is different than how we went to see Twilight, and she thought it was just as terrible as I did.
Oh,
so
good.
yeah, we learned a lesson there. So, but there was a lot of bad kissing in the movie, and for a real life husband and wife couple, I don't understand how Mariska Hargitay ever came about, because there's not a lot of heat.
And doesn't the
that
chemistry
kitchen.
isn't there.
No, there's not. But you know what? I think that they as soon as the cameras go off, that's when it gets real.
They just have performance anxiety when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, a really obscure reference I liked was they were all riding on horseback, and they're like, that was the day they invented the mummers, which there's this thing in Philadelphia called the Mamar Parade, which is just insane and fairly obscure. Anything else from this? Whoa, sorry, another favorite,
Yes,
because
please,
I see it on my
please.
screen. How'd they get a purple river?
Purple Rain. I like
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, I can't go wrong. Oh, and then we had the Garden of Damned Tree Dudes. Which one of these is Nicolas Cage again?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
anyway,
my goodness.
please.
No, there was a lot of wonderful jokes in this one. I had that topless harpy bed when I was a kid. Just rub the Buddha when everyone's trying to rub the belly. I just love that moment of "I trust you implicitly" in that moment. Like,
yeah.
I forget which character says it, but it's just very like, "Oh, why? Stop! Please stop! That's the bad person." And then feed my cat.
Yeah.
Feed my cat is one of my favorite running jokes that I think they do it a bunch, but it's just also one of my favorite
Just in
things
life.
for someone to
Yeah.
say as they die.
Do you like my Teen Wolf cosplay was good when
that's
there
great.
was sort of the
Bigfoot character thing?
which he kind of evoked
Why?
the Bigfoot character from Cry Wilderness, and I was just like, well, neither one of them are good Bigfoots, but I kind of want to see them wrestle.
Yeah,
You
that'd
know?
be fun.
My money is on Cry Wilderness Bigfoot though, because he's a little bit more cagey, and he's going to fight dirty.
Yeah.
Jason. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Jason's pointing out that he's fascinated with the fact that the leads are clearly not speaking English. It's
Yeah.
being dubbed in a different language, and just how interesting that is, and how do you know when a person you're acting with is done with their line?
I think you just wait for their mouth to close.
I guess
Which,
so.
by the way, is how Andrew and I do this show. It is actually, we do the show in Swahili, and then it's dubbed into English. Now you can talk.
Now I'm allowed.
And another one that I like that I wanted to throw in. It's like Iggy Pop and Phil Spector had a son choked by Ron Perlman. Oh, that's one that you want to cork that, put it back on the shelf. Down, you know what? Put it down in the joke cellar. Let that sit in there for probably 20 years, and then when you uncork it, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
My kind of joke. There was also the
Lot of
shows
good
have
jokes
gotten
in
a
that
lot
joke
more
cellar.
musical as we've gone along. And
Yeah.
I referenced obviously at the top that Even Flow because of how much
They did a great Purple Hair song
Yes.
segment that I enjoyed.
and they did a whole chunk of the Beauty and the Beast song.
Yes, they did.
Which again with our friend the
Bigfoot creature.
yeah, which
What was that supposed to be?
Well, I think again that
Yeah.
there's a Hydra on the set. There's a werewolf on the set. I think that there were other movies being made.
and they're just this is what they.
This
could
is
find.
like, this is what we got. But
Jerry, can we use your Bigfoot costume? Why wouldn't a Bigfoot fight Hercules?
when the
They got beef. Right.
when the tree monster grabs her and they say that's how you contract Dutch elm disease, it's tough, so tough.
Oh, that death scene was extra bad. I thought it was just he hugged her, and like I guess I appreciated that they were just kind of like, oh, you crushed her spine. I was like, there's an explanation. 'Cause it doesn't really look like any of that. It was like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
you
by the way,
hugged her, and now
that
she's
tree
done.
was very angry. I mean, just imagine if
I would be too.
if Dorothy and the Tin Man walked through those woods with those trees. It's a lot different Wizard of Oz.
That'd be a very different outcome.
Yeah.
A much shorter Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, Toto would be orphaned. Oh, sad.
No,
so
Toto's
sad.
actually the one who gets the slippers.
This is that movie I would see.
I would see that movie.
Yeah.
Dorothy dies in the first 10 minutes, and it's all about how Toto has to survive this horrible landscape. But that's neither here nor there.
What were some of your favorite lines? Jason Blair's in the chat, but if you're watching the archive of this, please post in YouTube. And Jason, obviously, share more thoughts with us. Hercules versus Bigfoot would have sold a lot more tickets had they named it that. Yeah, but it's not really fair because that's such a small part of the movie.
If they named it Hercules versus Bigfoot versus the Hydra
Yeah.
versus Jane Mansfield,
all right.
then
Well,
it's basically that.
versus Batman versus Superman.
Ooh, now
look,
I'm in.
I'm just trying
Box
to.
office hit.
There's 2 words for that. Ka-ching.
Boom.
So, I feel like we can close the book on Hercules, and I don't know. Maybe we'll get another Hercules.
Maybe
movie,
we will.
But I don't think so.
You know what? I gotta be honest. I like Hercules movies a lot. It's a well-tread territory, but it's a fun territory. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean they've on the old version of the show they did the more classic Hercules movies with Steve Reeves but not the first couple. You know, these were sort of the later on. I don't the Planet of the Apes catalog must be too expensive because I've never seen them do any of the Apes movies. And obviously the first one is actually a well-made movie. You know, sure you got rubber monkeys. I'm sorry, rubber apes. That's very speciesist
they're
of me.
apes, come on.
Yeah, no, my apologies.
Good.
We're gonna have protesters and picketers outside.
They're already outside.
Because they knew.
Yeah.
But I would love to see them do a Planet of the Apes movie, especially like one of the later ones.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't done any Planet of the Apes movies lately.
Yeah, but there's time.
Yeah.
So it's a genre that's well trod or tread.
Trod? I like Trod.
Trod. Another genre that I don't enjoy. For those watching on YouTube, my fun little T-shirt notwithstanding.
You don't like kaiju movies?
I don't love them.
Oh my.
Okay, because this is a pretty good example. It's just like, can't you just spend a little bit more money? I'm glad for the sake of our enjoyment on Mystery Science Theater 3000, they did not. But to make a better movie, and people who know me and have heard my personal podcast, the Blattcast, over the last few years, I could not understand why people liked the most recent Godzilla so much, because he's in it for, I think, 12 minutes.
That's
and, you know, Bryan Cranston's in it for like 8 minutes. And so the things that you see on the movie poster are actually not in the movie.
Not true.
But you get the guy who played Kick-Ass. And he's married to the girl who plays Scarlet Witch in the Avengers.
Oh.
But they're brother and sister in the Avengers. So it really throws everything off. But anyway, we're not here to We're not here to bury Godzilla. We're here to celebrate him.
Yes.
In
the form of Yongary.
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 Yongary, which sounds like...
You know, like his dad, Old Gary.
Old Gary.
I liked that joke a lot.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So we start off this one with Tiny Desk.
Yes. Yeah, I did like Tiny Desk.
I loved Tiny Desk.
And, of course, they had their Dream Journal meeting, actually.
Yes, you're right,
and,
you're right.
What did you dream about, Crow? Electric Sheep. Same old, same old. Love that. I think that there might have been a Dreaming of Electric Sheep joke earlier in the series. But, yeah, Tiny Desk seems great. The Thai Hitler coffee, I feel like, is
I love that.
No, but I think it's a product that you should
funny.
possibly not consider keeping in your kitchen.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
no, I did think it was very funny.
Very funny.
And
that was one of the jokes that I was like, I'm gonna put a little star next to this one. This one was extra silly.
And, you know, we'll talk about the movie in itself, but in a later segment, they talked about how this movie made space travel look boring. And, you know, Jonah, as a space pilot, found that offensive. So I love when he brings out his... They're not really puppets,
all
they're
of
little
the
figures.
space music.
Yeah.
And he's talking about
some
the
astronauts'
soundtracks.
musical preferences. My favorite was that Sally Ride would listen to Metallica's Kill 'Em All and some Iron Maiden and other albums. But secretly, she had Spandau Ballet.
Love it.
Anyway, that's for no one. That's for me.
That's for
Sorry.
you.
Sorry, everybody.
But you know what?
It's out there.
It's out
I
there.
am not taking it back.
Nope.
I'm going to set it free. And the idea that she was not a metalhead and Crow got very upset. I thought that was funny. But
Yeah. People
when
can
they
have
were-
varied tastes.
When they start talking about the Woohoo song by Blur, which has a name, by the way, but everybody's like, you know.
It's called the Woohoo song.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. And
Do you know what its name is?
no, song 2, I think.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
called the Woohoo song.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You trapped me with that one. A scene that we will talk about in a little bit inspired one of the host segments, which was Yongary Nights, the Yongary themed nightclub, where the friendly attendant will pour beer over your head. I think that would be welcome in, you know, right up the hill, Universal Studios.
Sure.
I think a Yongary themed nightclub is not too late.
Oh, absolutely.
I think America is ready to
It's finally time.
or at least Korea. South Korea.
Wasn't this a North Korean movie?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really get a
know.
North Korean vibe from this.
I thought they said that at some point, but I also don't know.
Yeah. Oof. I couldn't tell. Icho's dress. Which,
yeah.
And by dress, I mean attire. Anyway, so I thought that was good. And then we'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the movie. But
Jeez,
they did
Icho,
not.
what a character.
Yeah, I do love Icho.
That kid.
But our friends, Jonah, Crow, Tom Servo, to some extent Gypsy, did not respond well to the ending of the movie. Which
me neither.
Which we will talk about.
We
talked beforehand.
Strong feelings.
Why did you make us love Yongary?
They were so right about the like Werner Herzog like aspect of like, and life is very bleak, and sometimes you must see the thing you love die, writhing in agony, knowing that soon you will join him. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
why was he dancing? The joy only brings more sadness.
If it had happened like 20 minutes of movie time earlier, I think I wouldn't have felt it. But he starts dancing with a child.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's Michael Jackson in that Pepsi commercial. Back before Michael Jackson with kids seemed so weird. But, in a wholesome way. I don't want to call out Yongary for possibly doing something inappropriate with Icho. They're just friends. And, Icho is like, do we have to? And I feel like Icho represented me.
Yeah, me too.
Hashtag I am Icho.
Like, and I think this is more about the movie than about the show that we watched.
This is about the movie itself.
But like, I agree, and I love movies that have that aspect of like Pete's Dragon, of like, oh, this is a child finding something wonderful, E.T. or whatever, and like, the society is like, that's a dangerous thing. You can't like that thing, child, and be its friend. The child's like, no, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and I thought that they like basically didn't really. There were kind of a couple movies going on in this movie.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, Icho, we trust you to figure out how to make him itchy, which kudos to Icho.
He did a great job.
Yeah. But the best is when Yongary's sleeping, and he's just like, hey. I'm like, that was your plan? That's
that was the
plan. I think Crow said.
And it's a great plan.
It is a great plan
works.
Because he's like, let me show you my moonwalk, Yongary.
Yeah.
And,
Yongary is feeling it.
Icho, irresistible.
Yeah.
I love that little kid.
Yeah, he was a delightful character.
Yeah, and...
With an itching ray? Like, come on. That scamp. He's getting into some trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But everybody is, of course, used to it. And Gypsy had a great line. His name is Icho, and he makes people itch. Good thing his name isn't Puo. I like when Gypsy kind of pops in.
She has some really great little one-liners.
Yeah. Again, drive-by comedy, which I'm a big fan of. So, the movie. What you see a lot of times in these dub movies is how awkward it is to dub banter where people laugh. And this happens a lot in your Asian movies. Most of the ones that you see are Japanese movies.
For sure.
And this is a Korean movie, but you have the same thing. It's like, oh, we're all very happy at a wedding, and we are going to talk about that. And why aren't you married?
Yeah, it's wonderful because it's just such like a cultural like disconnect. Yeah. Like we don't talk that way, and so it's so funny to watch people try to speak English with the same patterns and like over the faces of people who are clearly not speaking English.
In so many dubbed Japanese movies, you basically get the face like, oh.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's like that's all you can really do, and I was just like, all right, it's gonna be a long ride with these characters, and I love that the husband and wife team that they kind of disappear for a while in the middle of the movie. He's like, remember us? We're main characters. I'm like, yeah. Where have they been? Yeah. But I do like their honeymoon night that of course gets interrupted, and she's getting changed, and she's like, guess who's dressed like your grandma?
I loved that. I wrote that down too. It reminded me of like The Rock, the movie The Rock, where it's like, oh, well, you just got married or whatever. Now it's time to go. You got a mission.
And I love the theory when Icho and his name wasn't Leland, or was it Leland, or whatever, the scientist guy who's
like
not
ELO?
the astronaut. Yeah,
ILO?
Yeah, not ELO, Electric Light Orchestra.
No, but ILO.
Yeah. ILO. And they developed the theory that actually the kid is him, and that he's his Tyler Durden. And I was like,
yes, I like that one too.
That really kind of made the movie a little bit more of a head trip.
When they started screaming "Capsule,"
that was
my favorite too,
because it just kept going. Capsule.
Yeah.
Hey, did you try yelling "Capsule"? Sometimes that works.
I feel like if we yell "Capsule" one more time.
Yeah, and then they just kept going back, and then of course the very last joke at the end of the movie is "Capsule." So yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the running jokes, and and we've also talked on the show that the rule of 3 in comedy does not apply to the show.
No, the rule of as much as possible.
300 is fine, you know, if you can get that many capsules. And I feel like the show being on Netflix, it's sort of like building it a little bit more possible to do a lot more callbacks to jokes from other movies. I don't think we saw them in these two, but
they have the power,
much like He-Man. That's one to grow on.
Think about that, you guys.
A standout one was the Shining Time Station's Military Industrial Complex, which that's the show where first Ringo Starr was the train conductor, and then George Carlin. Show for kids with George Carlin. And I believe, Jason Blair will appreciate this, I believe Shining Time Station is what inflicted upon the American continent, that's this one, Thomas the Tank Engine. I believe that they brought little stories over from jolly old England. Yeah, of course, Capsule.
Capsule?
Yeah, and I have one that I really liked that actually brings us to the jokes that you didn't get.
I was gonna say.
By the way, first movie, I didn't have any. I didn't have any that I didn't get the first time. Did you not have any in the first movie?
In the first movie, I did not. I don't think so. Yeah, and there are no question marks over here. Actually, the only question mark I had was, is it Bigfoot? Like, is it Bigfoot or is it not Bigfoot? And I don't think you have the answer for me for that.
Is he Sasquatch? Is he the Wendigo?
Is he some sort of chupacabra? We don't know.
A prototype for a Wookiee, perhaps.
A Greek chupacabra? Who knows? Right. But in any case... I thought, I got totally distracted.
So you had a couple that you didn't get.
Yeah, two things that I didn't get.
And I know both of them.
Haha. So the first one, Toonses.
Yes. Now this was
sounds familiar.
This was a great recurring sketch on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, that is what it is.
Toonses the driving cat.
That's what it is.
And it would always cut to footage. You know, so the joke would always be like, "Wow, he's really driving." I can't believe I didn't even know he knew how to drive. And there's a great song, Toonses the Driving Cat, which. I don't know. I don't know if Cambot's there in the booth, but I'd ask him to see if he could find the Toonses the Driving Cat song so that we could play it. But I don't know. Something. Cambot's very busy in other parts of the ship.
I got you.
It's from Saturday Night Live, so that might help it. But there was one of the questions that they would always ask is, how does he reach the pedals? So there would always be the first one that they did is Steve Martin was the host. I remember this very well because I would rewatch Saturday Night Live episodes a lot. I love the sketches. And he would drive the car for a little while, and then they realized, oh, wait, he's a cat. He's a terrible driver. And they would always cut to stock footage of cars falling and exploding. So that's why Toonses No! Was a great joke.
Love it.
So
loved it.
SNL, what should I type in?
Toonses, Toonces, the driving cat. The cat who could drive a car. He drives around all over the town. Toonses, the driving cat.
Is that the whole song?
That is indeed the song, but I spoke it. I sort of did it more as a spoken word piece.
He pulled kind of a Shatner.
I could do an open mic of the Toonses theme. Oh, yeah, it's tough with SNL clips because usually people just have to film their TV because when you have, like, really nice uploaded clips, NBC pulls them down within, like, 8 seconds.
Yeah.
But we can get a little bit of Toonses. I know it doesn't look great, but, yeah, Cambot, if you could show our listeners just a little bit.
The driving cat, the cat who could drive a car. He drives around all over the town. Toonses, the driving cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, the late great Phil Hartman there announcing Toonses the Driving Cat. And anyway, so yeah, and that would always cut to the car exploding. Which, if you get to a car exploding, you can cue it up to that, and we'll get back to it because. If you tune into this show, you come here expecting exploding cars.
A certain amount of explosions.
Yeah. So if we have an exploding car, we're will show
here
it.
To deliver.
And it's again, obviously the way I talk about the show, it's very clear. I'm a fan of dumb comedy, dumb jokes. Toonses the Driving Cat is a really dumb bit. In fact, we're about to see, So in a moment, we will show you the realization that Toonses is not a good driver. And you're not going to get this kind of coverage on the SNL after show. You have to come here for it. Because they don't do, Toonses, you're such a bad driver. Toonses. That's right. The SNL After Show talks about new episodes of the show, not episodes from 28 years ago. But if you want to hear about 28-year-old episodes of SNL or 30-year-olds, you come here. Yeah. I can do the
We know
entire
what you
William
like.
Shatner Get a Life speech.
Yes.
I mean, you there. Look at you. Have you ever even kissed a woman? Sad lovets. Anyway, that's comedy.
Beautiful. You've done it.
So,
You've done it again.
I love that we had a little. Thank you, by the way, Camelot. That was some
Thank
great work
you.
on absolutely no notice. I should have known that I
welcome.
wanted to get to Toonses, but I didn't know you weren't going to know it. It's an age thing. I
Yeah,
think
I
if
mean,
you
I-
had watched SNL,
I knew the name, but
yeah.
I didn't put a name to a face until now.
So now Jason Blair says, now you'll never... the next thing you know, he, as in Andrew, will say he doesn't know, one, Dennis Miller was on SNL, Dennis who, and two, who Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer is. Is that a character that you're familiar with?
Of course. I'm a fan of
Ladies
those,
and
of those
gentlemen of the
days.
jury, I'm just a caveman. Your world
Frightens and confuses me. Yeah,
see.
I'm a big fan of Phil
Yeah.
Hartman, and yeah, okay. You don't put my SNL cred on
he just didn't,
on trial
he just
here.
didn't know Toonses.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. SNL
And like I said, I
sketches,
knew the name, but
they didn't
anyway.
all get turned into movies.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to know the ones that get
Cone
turned
of
into
shame.
Even It's Pat got turned into a movie. Stuart Smalley got a movie.
That's true.
Senator Stuart
Smalley?
Stuart saves
Got
his
a
family.
movie? I've never seen that.
I saw it in the theater.
That's amazing.
There were 4 people there. I was all of them. That was the M. Night Shyamalan
In different
twist
costumes,
to sort of
yeah.
do a callback to an earlier episode. Anyway, I love that we just went down the spiral. You know,
Yes.
when I do my personal podcast, the Blattcast, BLADTCAST.com.
Check it out.
Basically, it's an hour, sometimes an hour and a half of basically that. Like, okay, so I want to talk about this thing,
And
and
then
then 20
you
minutes
break it
later, it's
down.
like. But anyway, as we were saying,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of, you know, me doing characters
Getting
from
back to
SNL.
it.
Yeah,
Sure.
impressions of other people's impressions.
I love it.
So
So
there-
tune in for that.
So yeah, please do. Hello. No, I'm not
Yep.
gonna actually.
There
do
it is.
That was just the
Guess
one
that
word.
impression.
Yeah. Guess the impression, but no. Guess whose impression of an
Right.
impression I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the key.
All right. So Toonses you didn't know. See, this is what I'm saying. Right back to what else did you not know?
The other one that I didn't know was Porkins.
Now, Porkins is one that you have to kind of dig a little deep on a very popular piece of pop culture.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the pilots that attack the Death Star and gets blown up.
Oh, okay.
And
So
he's the fat one because
his name
the
is
fat
Porkins.
one is always named like
Porkins.
Tiny
Yeah.
or Porkins or, you know, I mean, that's always the joke. There was... Thank you, Jason Blair. Yep, that was my Jay Moore as Christopher Walken.
Nice.
Because he's heard me do it before. Yeah.
He's heard it.
So if he ever wants to hear my impression of Norm Macdonald's impression of Quentin Tarantino, that's entirely
Ooh,
possied.
That's
Yeah.
a fun. That sounds like a fun one.
Okay, so like, what else was it in the movie that? No, what else did you like in the movie?
You know, I liked a lot about the movie. Actually, I thought it was really fun. There was a moment where they were like, "Oh, I bet Neil deGrasse Tyson has a problem with this Earth too."
I wrote that down. I love that. Yeah.
What was it? What does it say? No something. No. Oh, no deaths today.
Yeah. There was some great commentary on the camera work. Pan, pan, zoom.
Pan, pan,
And
zoom.
Then
Yeah.
the secondary comment within that was just put a Kink song underneath it, and you'll have a Wes Anderson
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
I love Wes Anderson
Very-
movies,
but
but that's
also
a
very true.
spot-on
Yeah.
critique. Yes.
Ask your doctor if acting is right for you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Take one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Just take one.
And the realization of that, you know, we got the photographs of Yongary, so they were like, Yongary's coming out, and Tom Servo says, "Good for him."
Good for him,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just perfectly
That's
timed.
cute.
Yeah.
Not Godzilla. Not in the horn and the hips. Loved that.
Seoul was a model city back then. Works on 2 levels.
Yep. No mercy or interest. I loved that.
That was good. And we talked about how there's a lot of musical references. I strung together 3 of them. So there was Thin Lizzy's Boys Are Back in Town. The Tanks Are Back in Town. And again, another Alice Cooper, School's Out, Korean. Love that. And of course, Low Rider should be driving faster. So loved all those.
That building looks excited. Really got me. And that building did look very excited.
The first time young Gary gets electrocuted, he's like, "My Fitbit, now I won't be able to count my steps." Loved that.
I loved that. Go. I'm out of dialogue. That was so funny after he repeats the exact same lines.
Yeah. Let's talk about, we referenced it from one of the host segments, the weird party/bar scene. Do you feel like that was another movie that just happened to infringe its way upon this movie? Because,
Kind of.
I mean, they were clearly Korean people, but it's like,
The one where he was like eating the meat with his hands.
Yeah, and then he poured the beer on the guy's head.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I mean,
it was not part of the same movie.
No, Crow has a good observation. You can't mashed potato your problems away, because it was, I guess, supposed to look like this is the degradation of society when a giant monster is roaming through your city. Look at how terrible it gets. It's like, no, I mean, I've been to like 7th grade parties that were kind of like that. You know, you pour beer on somebody's head. You get eaten by a monster. Sad
party.
R.I.P. Jimmy.
No.
What else you got there?
I loved. They were like, "Oh, the body language of that monster isn't scary." It's like, why won't you be my friend? I totally agreed with and loved that. I loved that they kept pointing out Korean actors who looked like other American actors, like John Waters.
I have that.
That's the one. And then there was another one with what's his name? Justin Long.
Yeah,
a couple of them. They were just like, yeah, it's this guy.
Yeah, there was a great commentary that Godzilla is a parable of nuclear war, whereas Yongary is a parable about copyright infringement.
True.
Yeah.
I loved this is quite a palate cleanser of a shot. It's like the sorbet of a shot. Buddy Love reference from Nutty Professor.
Yes. And there was an earlier when Icho's first in the laboratory.
Yeah.
Sorry, that word definitely eluded me.
One of
That's what
those
happens when you get in your 40s,
rooms.
Jason. Sometimes a word that you know the word, just it's not there. So welcome to the club, like I said. Anyway, and he says, "Now eat your flubber." So we get 2 Nutty Professor references. I guess I don't know. Those are the same movie. See, again, now I'm overthinking everything.
I loved the kaiju think you can dance. That was so silly.
Yes, the kaiju think you can dance. I like when Yongary's starting to have trouble walking around, and they point out that it's like the end of a James Brown concert where they put the cape on him and all that, and there was some good. There was also another semi-musical one where one of the characters is one of the military guys goes and of course it's followed up with Wipeout. Love
That's
that.
great.
Yeah,
I loved this insurance doesn't cover acts of Godzilla.
When you talked about saying that the Korean actors look like American actors, one was very obscure. Comedian Dom Herrera.
Yeah,
So we saw him and he
yeah.
said Dom Herrera, and I was like,
yeah.
that was a favorite. I didn't have anything to look up in this one either. I'm getting better.
You're getting so good.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And just the death sequence.
Yeah.
I think we're there now.
I think we're there, but I'm gonna throw in one more because it's when Icho has the itch ray, and we referenced before how he goes up to Yongary, say hello to my itchy friend. Now, seriously,
I liked that they put forth that, like, what if he just had the actor just had a scorpion in his costume. It was actually no one understood. No one yelled cut.
But when we get to the
sad.
fact that we're in this movie, and they do make us kind of find him a little bit endearing at the end. He's dancing with Icho.
But then they just blow him right up.
And, okay, you kind of knew that was coming, but as they asked in the final segment of the show, the final host segment, why did they have to let him bleed out?
Yeah.
Like, very graphically.
Super graphically.
And I think Crow pointed out, it's the reddest blood I've ever seen.
And also, like, the tail, flailing, like, he has death throes. It's really upsetting. He's twitching, like, it's so
This
upsetting.
is the first ever monster movie / snuff film, and I, for one, do not stand for it.
No, I don't either. You're not allowed to just kill monsters on camera.
Yongary deserved better, and, he deserved better conceptual design to not just be a cheap Godzilla, but we definitely this was a comment that they said, we don't need the 7 stages of Yongary's death,
Yeah, you really didn't.
Yeah. This might have this is after that moment, this might be the first ever that I'm aware of in all the years of Mystery Science Theater 3000, the first ever Baba Booey Howard Stern reference from a crowd of people. And I might be wrong, so if I am wrong, please someone tell me, because people will definitely tell me. And then they start planning a wedding at the end, and that sort of ties it all together, because you can tell his sister is going to be a real bridezilla. You mean Bride Gary.
Nah.
Yeah, and and then of course they're trying to get everybody inside. Hey, these Yongary burgers aren't going to eat themselves, which just reminds me, and of course,
just like the other dinosaurs movie we saw, where they made
and the final
food out of
good
them.
night from Yongary, capsule. They all say capsule.
Capsule.
And we don't always talk about the sting, which is after the credits, the last few second scene. This one, it was Yongary dancing, and so it just reminded me. It made me cry all over again. It was just
a beautiful moment.
It was # too soon, but it's sort of like, you know, at the Oscars when you have someone sing like "I Will Remember You."
Yeah, and then you see the
say
pictures.
Young Gary. That actually would have been very funny if it had been like Yongary. I don't know what year the movie was made. Yeah, poor Yongary.
And then
Yongary will return in nothing because he's dead.
he just made me sad.
Well, I mean, look, it's been a tough couple days.
Yeah.
And I think that we got a great song out of it though, and I like when Kinga and TV Son of TV's Frank join in on the song.
Yeah, I like the
Frank
weird,
doesn't really,
just
I mean,
the weird
Max doesn't do
vocalizing
much.
at the end there. Yeah, that's
but
perfect.
I thought it was a great song. You know, you know, and I think it was "What Do You Do When a Movie Hurts Too Much." That's not the worst of the song, but that was the point. Anyway, there were so many jokes throughout the way. Kaiju Hostile is what Jason says. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, basically.
It was torture porn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the way,
Kaiju Saw.
we might have to edit this part out, and so we can take that idea and pitch it around town. Kaiju Hostile? Are you kidding? Like
Godzilla's got a real wicked streak.
yeah, because he's but he's actually going to check into the hostel, I think.
Oh, okay.
So the kaiju are on spring break.
Okay, and they're going to they're going to Cabo.
Yeah.
And they've heard about this place that there's like a there's a little Airbnb they can go
And they're
to.
like, oh, but there's no Wi-Fi because you always have to explain
Right,
these
it's kind
things
of
in
out of
these
the
movies.
way, but it's right on the beach.
Because once everybody basically had a supercomputer inside their pocket, you always have to explain reasons why you can't call for help.
Exactly.
You know, and sometimes they over-explain. It's like, well, once you get on the other side of the bridge, there's no signal.
Yeah.
I have to get to the other side of the bridge. Anyway.
Yeah. Just put them in space. That's
So,
always a good reason.
I think we're going to leave it on Kaiju Hostel.
Yep.
But in a
Guys,
good way, as our friend Kevin McGraw would say.
Those were a really good couple episodes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them a lot.
You know, we're getting a lot later into the season, though.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a few more left. I believe there's 14 total, but that's how much I don't look ahead. I don't want to know the titles of the movies until I
you're
start
totally
to watch
right.
them.
There are 14.
And okay, I thought there were 14. So we'll have a few more episodes of the show, and we will be back next Friday at noon Pacific. That's this many Eastern. Wait, no, that's 6. That's 3 Eastern for those watching on YouTube. Thanks to our pal Jason Blair, and happy birthday again, and everybody who is watching after the fact. Please comment on the archive version on YouTube, or if you're listening on iTunes, in addition to liking, rating, commenting,
Subscribe.
5 stars. This is definitely a 5-star Mr. Science Theater After Show. Yeah. And you can also tweet us at MST3KABTV. I'll come up with a joke about what 15 is. I already had the Yum Yum Dozen, so we need one more.
Yeah.
And I'll have a new joke. But anyway, thanks to everybody. For Andrew Mena, at Andrew Mena.
Find me on the Twitter.
I'm Christian Bladt, at Christian DMZ. We will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Castle!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.